Yeah.
All right, so this is our biological argument on whether or not the use of CRISPR-Cas9 technology following the birth of a human being is ethical. So it'd be post-birth gene editing and modification. So first of all, what is CRISPR? It stands for clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. The palindromic repeats are found in DNA of bacteria, and it's actually like small copies of viruses in the bacterial DNA that they use to identify the harmful viruses. When they identify one of these viruses, the bacteria uses an enzyme Cas9 to break down the virus, and the method by which certain genes can be identified within a cell is what the CRISPR technology copies pretty much. And so with this combination, we can gain access to specific genes and modify them within a cell.
So more specifically, like the RNA will guide the Cas9 to a specific location on the DNA. So then the RNA will guide it there, and then that's where the Cas9 is going to cut. And the Cas9 enzyme then unzips the DNA, and the RNA binds to the spot where it's targeting, so that the cut DNA can be replaced with a new like spliced gene, and like to change the genome. And then from there, the gene can either stop working, a new gene could be inserted, or the gene could be fixed.
So now that we have the basic information down, I'm going to start with my argument. So basically, in my opinion, CRISPR tech, it's the greatest, scientific advancement that we made in a really long time. Quite frankly, it's incredible, like what we can do with it. It can increase the potential of the human ability. It's unmatched by anything we've seen before. And some more advantages of modern tech are that it gives us a means for scientists to expand their creativity because of the limitless possibilities. There's also the possibility for life-threatening genetic diseases to be cured. Human life could be enhanced, and the longevity of life could be increased. And that could also be as a result of improved food production and processing, and birth defects that were initially thought to be uncurable could be protected.
So my brief opinion of CRISPR technology is it's undoubtedly a breakthrough in gene therapy and the medical industry, but there are definitely tons of risks when you're trying to alter a person's DNA, which could be detrimental to a person's health. So if a procedure somehow goes wrong and you cut out the wrong genes or something malfunctions, the result could be a protein that is cut short so that you can no longer produce that protein, so protein malfunction, which could lead to death, or other genetic disorders could be the result of this procedure. And then also, is the technology even practical? Is it practical to take what we've seen in bacterial DNA as palindromic repeats? Is it practical to take that and apply it to humans using a specific technology that can actually splice this person's genes and change their genome? And then also, is it ethical to alter somebody's genes after they're born and change who they are? It's almost like playing God. Is it really ethical to change someone's genes after being born?
Okay, so to address your question on whether or not it's going to be practical to use this technology, I think we can start by saying this is something that scientists have never seen before. So the ethics can obviously be questioned because that's something that happens when we reach unknown territory. And but basically from what we have in the past, this is the most advanced technology, and this is a huge improvement over what we had in the past. There has been types we've learned in the 1970s that how to target certain genes and how we could break them down. And from that, we've developed this technology and we've made it more practical. So we've definitely made advancements, which I think it kind of answers the question. Yes, it has become practical because we've started in a place where merely discovering the enzyme, a certain enzyme that can break it down, but now we can actually control it. And also using better computer technology, we've managed to cut down the cost of the whole process, and the CRISPR-Cas9 technology is proven to be the most efficient and easy way for scientists to address the issue.
I agree definitely that it has immense potential, but all of this is still really hypothetical. Can we really take palindromic repeats and apply it to humans' DNA to change their DNA? I mean, how is this procedure going to look? How's it going to work? There's so many like questions and possibilities and errors that could occur that really could be fatal to a person. I don't believe that the therapy is worth the risk of human lives.
Yeah.
Just yet.
Okay. That's true, and it's definitely, I can definitely acknowledge the risk of attaining undesirable mutations that can result in negative effects for certain people and then their resulting offspring. However, I think that I've never been someone who has had to deal with a genetic defect from birth, but I think someone who could benefit from this procedure is someone who has a genetic defect or something, a genetic disease, and they've lived with it chronically, so for their whole life. It would be life-changing for them to have the opportunity to use this technology to cure it. So I think there is the potential, risk for mutations in certain processes when using this technology, just because of the errors or malfunction. But overall, I think the benefits from curing chronic illness would greatly outweigh that.
Yeah, I definitely agree that it's ethical. Like, if somebody has a genetic disorder after being born, and like we have the technology to change their lives for the better and make them, healthy and be able to function independently, I definitely agree that that's a ethical and productive way to use this technology. But then like the question is, like, are people gonna exploit this technology and use it to, like, after somebody's been born, like maybe they want to be a few inches taller, maybe they want to change their color, like hair color. It's like, 'cause that's all theoretical with this type of technology. At that point, I don't think it's ethical to go into a person and really change like who they are, change how tall they're. Like if they're like 5'10", change them to 6 foot, change their hair from blonde to brown. I don't think it's ethical to change those type of things, but I think it's definitely applicable to people who have genetic disorders and are really at a disadvantage compared to normal people, especially when they have the chance to live a normal life.
Yeah, definitely. And I see where you're coming from, and I know you've used the term like playing God as a means for argument. Like, you don't want to alter the natural selection that we already have occurring. Like, you don't want to kind of interrupt the flow of how nature works. And that brings in like another question. All biology aside, if you're religiously affiliated, do you believe that it is right to be changing these sort of things, like to be using this technology to change the natural way in which someone is supposed to develop, according to whatever they believe, if they believe it's God or if they just believe that evolution drove someone's certain characteristics and why they're here now. So I think that it's kind of a gray area, and it has to be argued like with the discretion of the individual person. So I don't think there's an answer that we can come up with for that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I think there is like an immense amount of potential, no doubt, to change a person's life for the better, and to really set them, like, if they have like genetic disorders, set them on like the right path to being like having a normal and healthy life. But I really do think that it is like playing God. It's like it is changing the natural selection of our world, changing the how things evolved, how things came to be, and, changing like the natural flow of like humanity. I feel like it's kind of like it's something that's outside of our control and always been, but it really is like, I agree that it's also like a gray area where it's like if you have the ability to save someone's life and change it for the better, but like, is it ethical to really go into someone's DNA and change that and alter, like it's really just like playing God and altering the course of all of humanity, because after we change one person's life to change a disease, like what's going to stop another person from changing how tall their son is so they can go play in the NFL?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we found some mutual ground, and so thank you for talking with me.
Thank you.